Bum 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 bang 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 bang. What is up, dudes? This is Due Diligence here. I'm sorry for my little bit downward emotion right now because I made a super happy video and I was like, oh my god, everything seems to be alright. But then I realized that the mic wasn't working properly because number two decided to chew the USB cord. And then sometimes when you plug the USB cord in, there's something wrong. That there's some technical components that DD's mic cannot wrap around with. And then bang, I just lost about 30 minutes of footage with very detailed video and audio regarding what my materials sort of specific sector segments are and what I see in those sectors. But anyways, let's just start from the beginning. So what are some price actions today? There's really none. It's trading flat and then it follows the general market pattern around about an hour or 2 hours into the market. Everybody's like, oh my god, J Money's speech wasn't that bad, but wasn't that great too. So it's not worth my money to really put into a bunch of stocks. That's why I decided to pull back. And also keep in mind, today is July 30th, which is the month end, and a lot of people pull their money out and wait for sort of another day to invest in the market in around August, like early August. Or a lot of people just don't like to have their position inside of the market, especially with so much uncertainty going on, so they pull back on Friday. So you usually see Fridays are usually a very flat day, except for certain stocks, which I'm going to talk about in other videos. Which one of those is actually Metamaterials' glucose-wise competitor, direct competitor on the market. I mean, yesterday I gave you guys a price range from about 3.39 to 3.5, and then the probability of that is 50%. So it's the higher probability of all the things I've gave you guys, and then it when become true, right? And I said it might or might not reaches, the point we want, but the probability is pretty low, around 2.82, which is super low. I mean, there's a chance that it might reach a 3.72 today if the market keeps going up, but the volume just doesn't support that. Okay, if you have been on this channel for more than a week or even for the past 3 days, I keep emphasizing, I keep iterating on this point where in order for a stock to go in upwards momentum, you need to have upwards volume. What do you mean by upward volume? It means you have to have a lot of people buying in, and the quantity or the volume of the people who are buying into the stock has to be bigger than the people who are shorting it. So for today, the short action comes in 2 hours with after market open, which is around here, and you see the shorts are actually semi-winning today because the short to long position is about 51 to 49. But as you see, over the past few days, the volume is pretty stagnant. It's sort of consistent with the market drawback and everything. So what is really important is next week and also the earnings that's coming out the week after. So next week will be a sort of like a big week for Meta, I guess, depending on if there's going to be a lot of speculators coming in and just buy into the stock, consider it's super cheap right now. And the fact that if you go back and look at a lot of SEC filings, you will know that a lot of Meta's directors, only the oldest directors and only the oldest officers or employees have option price that are lower than the current stock market price. So it will be actually a really good idea for George to buy back some shares, and it will be a great news for us investors, but I don't think he's going to do it because George is A, no PR, and B, no finance. But George is still lovely. We still love him. He's a very PhD-oriented person. I mean, again, I'm a little bit salty about the all PhD management, not because the fact that Stanford didn't take me for their PhD position in finance, but also because I believe that when you have a PhD brain, your mind is not on the money, but for investors, what we really care is how you're going to make me rich and famous, right? And also, even though if we believe in your tech, but if you don't make us money, we probably should invest our money elsewhere. But right now, well, let's just say we're sort of become a package deal of MMAT right now. Let's look at today's news, right? So if you look at George's tweet, you will see that he tweeted about the butterflies, and a lot of people are speculating the butterfly with Samsung Galaxy Fold. Oh, he didn't post it here. But in a couple of days, I'm gonna post another video specifically on the mobile segment of NanoApp. And the fact that since Samsung Galaxy Fold does not incorporate metamaterial, they have their own patented technology to do this folding, and it's currently a flop, makes the production and it makes the incorporation and implementation of metamaterials really, really appealing right now for the phone industry. And there are rumors coming out of Apple are saying they're also looking into alternatives, and they're looking into some sort of inventive way of incorporating the folding tech into the iPhone production, but it's just purely rumor. I think Samsung might or might not create another folding phone considered the sale of the phone itself, but also you have to incorporate the fact that the pandemic is still going on, the Delta variants, and people actually don't really have a lot of money to spend on phones. Not for millennials though, because we will sell our kidney to buy a phone. So regarding this post, what it's really talking about is the meta structure or the metaphysical structure or the structural component on butterfly's wings. So you might think that the purple is actually pigmentation of butterfly's wings. It's totally not true. It's actually how the molecular structure on the atomic level of the butterfly's wings and its structural orientation, which it deflects and absorbs light in a very specific way, sort of the founding father of metamaterials actually go to butterflies to sort of draw his innovation or inspiration from to sort of create a metamaterial. It's essentially materials that will deflect and absorb light to serve for its own purposes. For example, in this case of butterfly, it reflects light and absorbs light to a certain ratio, and it was a very smart sort of biological quote-unquote metamaterial structure to make it have this very vibrant and purple color. And without going into a lot about butterflies, because I actually studied butterfly for half a year in college, just because I sort of liked this chick, and then she didn't like me back anyways. That's just a sad story. And again, for metamaterials, one of the biggest problem in the industry is still cost. Low-cost nano components and metamaterials are literally non-existent. That's why the road-to-road production or the road-to-road scalable production is really important in this industry. If George can actually make a breakthrough, we will see some big rings in the next, let's just not say year, but just say next 6 years just to be safe. And I know a lot of you were trying to let me address the article posted by Investor Place. I sort of hinted on that yesterday by doing some people DD on the person who wrote that article. That person only plays very safe plays on regular or generic tech companies like Apple and other things, but he doesn't have any credentials in terms of metaphysics or understanding of advanced materials. And he's right on one thing, that metamaterials is hugely a massively speculative play for investors right now. It is true, but the reward and risk are usually equal to each other. We as investors, our job is to make sure that we mitigate the risk part by doing enough DD. But again, in an alternative universe, maybe this entire thing is a scam, then we lose all our money. But the probability, let's just hope the probability is super low. And by far, by all the DDs I've been digging into, and the fact that I'm in metamaterial with you guys, I started reading meta technology or started reading nanotechnology, nanofabrication, and articles on those stuff on Google Scholars, on Natural, on nano journals, and I start ordering books to have deeper understanding on the metaphysics of how structural manipulation can achieve advanced photonics sort of functionality. By doing that, I sort of learn more about the industry itself, and also I can be semi-expert on this issue, and whenever people post false information, I can correct them. And another thing about the business side of metamaterials, a lot of you are discussing the raise of earnings of Contravo, which is a German company or European company that basically is a supplier of metamaterials. One of its main products essentially is going to be the main components, the main building block of the AR segment of their sort of go-to market at this point, because it seems like George want to do this as their primary market at the point. But the fact that they're doing so much of horizontal integration instead of vertical integration is really bothering me, because their cash burn rate is accelerating. In the past 2 months, essentially, by hiring more people. It might seem like a really good thing that George is hiring all these key hires, securing all these people. But the fact that he hired this new doctor, Dr. Haisun, he's very credible. I'm still doing per people DD on him because, one of the lessons I learned from my materials, I need to do more DD on the team instead of the tech itself. I learned. This is the hard lesson to learn by being, 50%, or right now it's about 48% in the red right now because I utilize some option trading techniques to sort of get back some of my losses, and I also strike some other make dirt into gold plays with my viewers on streams. But as far as this thing goes, I think they're nanoweb or nanotechnology, the semiconductor space, or more of the manufacturing operation side is right now at a technical and a R&D bottleneck. This is why he's hiring more people. It's sort of like a fault safe for faster R&D, but there's no such thing as faster R&D. Because essentially, as investors, what we really care about is how you're going to make us rich and famous, because we believe in your tech, therefore we believe that it's going to make money, right? Does that make sense? It's the whole logic of investing in any companies. So therefore, when Apple is spending $20 million or $1 billion in R&D, they probably make 20 times more than that, right? Because, this is how it goes. Like, R&D is essentially invest in earlier stages, and the R&D money is going to yield you 10x, 100x, 1000x return. But in terms of metamaterials, R&D history, I think they need to be more business focused. I think the goal for George for the next few months, next few years is about being more business focused rather than on tech focused. I think his CTO is competent enough to work on the tech side, that his job is to hire a great PR team like us to help him achieve the people level support. You cannot build a glass castle on the sky without people on the bottom supporting you, giving you, supplying you the grit and supplying the confidence to actually build a floating castle on the sky. And for those of you who actually read Wolf of Wall Street, read the Random Walk on Wall Street, you all know what I'm trying to say here. But right now, the stock is still traded at a very dirt cheap price. And for those of you who are saying, oh my god, Didi, you only talk about the good side of metamaterials, and everybody else is talking about the good side. No, I actually present you guys with a lot of very pessimistic views on the stock, including the possibility of another reverse split. But right now, we don't really need to worry about it as of right now. But as Meta goes with very stagnant trading pattern and trading volume, we might have to prepare for the worst. And if that comes true, DD might actually turn dark at that point. But that would be probably in an alternative universe. For now, the probability of that is in the lower 10% right there. And what we as investors, what we're hoping for is George doesn't have a super technical speech on the earnings day, and he talks more business rather than talk more tech. This is what we really are hoping for. And hopefully his IR team becomes more patient, and they learn that the reason why they run a bunch of good companies into penny stocks is because they really suck at their jobs, and they really need to evolve with the entire IR industry. And if those of you who want me to make a video specifically tailored to what has changed over the past 12 years in the IR industry itself, comment down below. We have a lot of video ideas, but as we all know, number 2 is a status, and he only wants videos out that have more than 500. And right now, I think his appetite is bigger than that. He wants more than 800 views. And without 800 views, he sort of whipped me at night and verbally abused me over the phone. So I'm very sad. Ooh. So if you guys want to support me, please smash a like button and make it light up. And then we can beat the YouTube algorithm, so I don't need to be operating under the fierce and hegemony of number 2. I'm half kidding, right? But not really, because he really cares about the views here. And for those of you who haven't subbed yet, please go smash that sub button and turn on the notification bell. And for the next few weeks, or at least before I have to do something important other than YouTube, I will be doing my either daily stream, or I will be doing my like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday streams right around an hour before the market close. So keep tuning for that. And I might or might not do a early pre-market stream extended into about 45 minutes into the market to spot some trades for you guys. As far as this week's spotting trade, dirt into gold thing goes, the EDU and GOTU went pretty well. The NEO one also went pretty well. But hey Charles, don't worry about AEI and don't worry about HMLP or HMPL. Not really sure the exact ticker. We're still in this together, and I have strong confidence that my math is correct. Anyways, there's gonna be a very specific video on this hire coming out tomorrow, and the day after, I'm gonna make videos about specific segment competition for metamaterials, including glucose-wise, which I think is operating in a very horizontal space in terms of metamaterials. It can see a potential because it has a huge market, but at the same time, I don't think biotech is what George should be focusing on, and I don't think he's competent enough to do that. And the fact that one of his major competitors just have a huge PR boost on their shareholder price, and they're doing so much great PR campaigns than he is, and the fact that the entire biomedical and the entire tech industry is based on PR right now, George is losing the battle, and hopefully he will listen to us. And I don't know, maybe we keep bashing on him too much, and he's just really sad and salty about what we talk about. But anyways, this is it for this video. Comment down below if you have any questions, and hopefully I answered them all by the end of around Sunday, because this weekend is going to be super busy. I have so many video ideas that I want to talk about in terms of metamaterial, future of metamaterials. A lot of SEC filings are out, and there's so much things to read. And also, I plan to make one last AMC videos for those of you who are wondering when you should sell AMC. And whether the short squeeze is actually happening. I will provide you some very detailed mathematical thing regarding how AMC is going to do in the next about few months. And there's some rumors coming out about Citadel and everything. The bank reform is on its way, but it's not completely related to AMC. All right, see you guys on the upside.